Welcome to Maker's Perspective. This is going to be a next gambo, or a variation of an amphora. As with other pieces in this series, it's just two gathers, one small starter bubble, and then a gather on top of that. For this video, I don't have the starter bubble. I just have the second gather to completion. So here we are, coming out of the furnace and going to the pipe cooler. Now at the bench, I'll roll the piece back and forth about 3 times to make sure the glass is even, then hand it off to JW to heat up. Once back, I block the whole thing again, and then I have him start to blow. I blow out the bubble to that 3/4 air and quarter thickness of solid material. Go into the glory hole to give it a heat, and come out and start at that angle and gradually bring it down, thicker on the bottom, a tapered shape all the way to the shoulder, without touching the very top of the piece on the marver. And right back into the glory hole. And to the bench. Let it stretch out, smooth the whole piece with paper, while JW is slowly blowing up that shoulder, and I'm keeping the thickness in the bottom.
Yeah, the bench feels so far away for me.
Now I'm heating just a little north of parallel. That'll enable me to get it hotter for when I put in my jack line. Let it stretch, jacks on the side and blow it up a bit, and then take my jacks and go into the bubble, squeezing down and pulling at the same time, then angling slightly to support the main bubble as the piece blows up. Now going back in and putting what will be the final jack line, taking my jacks, going back to the neck and bubble area, and then going under the neck to make sure that it's straight. Now even though it's still hot, I'm going to go back into the glory hole. Don't let it get cold to waste more time to heat it up. Back at the bench, making sure that the bubble and the neck are straight with just one jack blade under the neck. And now I've taken those jacks, and I'm on both jack lines, making sure that both are smooth, that it rolls nicely. I don't need to do anything, otherwise, if it's a little off, I can just simply shimmy it, kind of roll it back and forth and pause, and let the piece fall back on center while I support the neck with the jacks. So I went in, flashed, and now I'm heating up the main part of the piece. I need to drop it out a little bit so that I can squeeze in that middle section. raising it up to heat and drop it out a bit. Grabbing the paper, going from the shoulder and then into the hotter part of the bubble and making almost a soft pint glass or slightly tapered cylinder. Now minus the neck from here on out will just be like when I made the wasted vase in a previous video. Jack straight up and down, and then slowly angling them while JW blows just a little bit, and squeezing it out. Now if you just pick an angle and just rely on the jacks to do that, what you'll get is a more geometric shape. I like to heat up this thing and drop it out so you get kind of a more fluid shape. Heat it up, give it a little bit of a stretch, and now I switch to the paper. Just going to the center and then going to the back and having JW blow real quick. Same sort of thing, going to the bottom, making sure it's on center with the top, and then switching my paper around and kind of pushing and starting the bottom. Always a nice deep flash, and then I find the area that I'm going to heat. Come out from the heat, grab my jacks, just squeeze down that waist just a little bit more. And then you can see I'm really flattening the bottom by taking my jack blades and just pushing in the bottom. JW is blowing very slightly. Now to put in the bottom. Hose untangled, and it is on the outside of the pipe. Nice deep flash. And now just heating the bottom. But again, I'm heating a little deeper than I would if I was making a cylinder, because I want to be able to sculpt or curve out that bottom area, accentuate it. This way it won't look rigid. It will maintain the fluidity, so I take the jacks and go into the waist, kind of going from that waist and sweeping my blades and coming out at that angle. You can almost push, then pull the waist, thereby making that kind of fluted bottom shape all the while JW is paddling. I open up my blades as I pull. Grab the paddle and make sure it's nice and flat on the bottom. Nice deep flash. Take the paddle, it's nice and flat, give it a kick, take my piece of cane, put a nice bullseye there for when I punt it. Again, a deep flash. Now I'll start torching the piece. Torching the moil, the neck, and the jack line.
Good?
My final flash before punting. He has a little extra
Sure, get it a
glass on
little
it,
long.
but it'll be fine. Just touch it on.
You know? Oh, okay. Off the stick. Okay. Got it.
It looks okay. Drop of water on the moil, and drop of water on each side of the jack line, and a bonk. Again, I drop water on the moil just so I'm not pouring water all over the place, and can be more precise with my drops on the jack line. JW comes back and I take my paddle center. You can see how off-center it is. It's really kind of got that hula dancer vibe. So I find the high side, flip it 180, and I push from the bottom to push the high side up. So I find it, flip, and push on the high side. Flip it up in order to center it. That should do it, and now flash, and I'll heat up the neck. This piece is basically done from the shoulder on down, so I just need to worry about the very top neck. In that area, I'm going to flare out that lip. And where the neck comes into the shoulder sometimes, if you haven't blown it out that great on the pipe, you can just go back and Sophie it. And so before I trim or anything of that nature, that's what I'm going to do. So JW has the Sophie. You can see thinning out and accentuating the form, getting the shoulder nice and full and thinning out the top. Now that I've used the Sophie, I'm going to heat it a little to trim this piece. I'll still also Sophie after the trim. Grab my tweezers and pull out the top. It wasn't moving just the way I wanted to, so nice deep flash and some more heat on that top neck area.
This is one of those because of the way it pulls out and everything, it's almost like why you would jack it down. You know, part of that thing broke off the side, so that's creating a little bit of funkiness on that area that I just stole.
That should do it. Come out and retweeze. Pulling it out. Now jacking it down straight up and down. Go to an angle, making sure it's straight relative to the body, the base of the neck, and then straight up and down, and then inside to chill it. Now I grab my diamond shears and go all the way around. Lift up on the bench rail and give it a slight tap to bonk it off. Now I go on the bench rail so the vibration stops at where the bench rail is. Otherwise the vibration could go all the way down to the punty. Now some people will bonk it off with the diamond shears and then have someone else hit it with the tweezers. JW is more than capable, but I'm always the constant when I'm blowing glass. So that's the reason why I bonk it off myself. I take a good flash and heat up that top, and just open it up a little bit. I've also switched jack blades, using thinner, kind of more delicate blades.
All right, Puff. Ah, you timed out, you little bitch. Yeah, I got it. I can hear you, you fucker.
Come back, pieces off the bench a bit, have JW blow, and then I pull back to have him stop blowing. Deep flash right before I come out. And taking my jacks and just slightly lifting up on that neck that I would like to flare.
That's all. It's like, where'd they go?
On the inside, really flaring that lift. And taking my jacks on the outside and kind of following the contour and pulling. Remember, the neck sometimes will sink back in, or basically the shoulder that's thinner will kind of collapse. So it's good to kind of pull it back out using that cold neck to pull out the kind of warm area that's in that thin shoulder. Another way to kind of get it out is sometimes to blow it. There I go. Making sure it's nice and flat on the top. Now I could avoid a lot of this by just torching that neck and opening it up that way. But for this specific one, I just want to use the glory hole. You can see inflating that shoulder again. It's thin up there. I'm going to Sophie it one more time. Sophie's not really doing anything for the neck. It's mainly fixing the base of the piece. So it's going in and touching the bottom of the neck, puff out to that top. Now you can come back and straighten the neck in that flared or flanged lip. So it's starting to look all right. I'm just going to start torching it and flashing it down, getting a little heat in that connection area to break off. Deep flash.
Like, is she working herself up about stuff?
And it looks okay. All on center. Grab my water tweezers. Drop of water right on the connection. And a bong. Now torch out and get all the sharp spots out. And there you have a neck gambo or neck wasted vase. You can see how similar it is to the open vase with a waist. I have found mentally with neck pieces that once I establish the neck, if I treat the piece as if the pipe is just a bit longer, then that has made my execution of neck shapes much easier. Thanks for watching Maker's Perspective. Cheers.